For you guys that don't know me, I'm Joe Mock with C3 Technology Advisors. I've been here about 5 years. I specialize in contact center, UC, a little bit of SD-WAN. When I first started here, almost 5 years ago, my boss, Matthew Toe, said there's two people I want you to get to know. Matt Douglas at CBTS, I don't know if he's here, but he was one of them, and Brandon was the other. So, when I finally got to meet Brandon, I realized he had about 30 years of experience. He gave us this long list of contact centers that he had either consulted with or ran, and some of the names were like Clorox, American Express, Quaker Foods, Southwest Airlines, Spirit Airlines. And so I started thinking, like, if you put into perspective 30 years, SAS did not exist. Spirit Airlines was a year old. 30 years ago, 1993. Bill Clinton was sworn in as president.
Don't remind me.
What's that?
Nothing, go ahead.
Oh. The slogan, "Got Milk," came out, Brandon, 1993.
Damn.
Yep. Gas was $1.16. And That's the Way Love Goes by Janet Jackson was #1. Anyways, I want to thank all of you for coming today. We've had a great day so far. We're going to wind up here with Brandon. He is the head of CX in the channel for Zoom, and you are talking about ChatGPT.
Yes.
Some other AI trends that maybe are debunked.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it to you.
We're in the cover. Thanks, man.
Your expertise.
Appreciate it.
For everything.
Thank you, sir. Hey, how you guys doing? All right, here's the deal. Couple of really important things. First of all, it's happy hour. The bar is open. If you hadn't had a drink, go get one now. Come back. I'll be right here, I promise. The other thing is, this is not going to work as a lecture. We actually have a considerable amount of time. Joe actually has a microphone for QA. So I'm going to ask you to do something really, really uncomfortable. It'll take you like 20 seconds, and we'll get it out of the way. You guys are way too spread out for this, okay? There's no way he's going to be able to walk around here and get questions. So I'm going to ask, if you're like on the outside tables, just come in and make a friend, please. Just move in. Make it easier for Joe to like get around and get to you guys. If you don't actually have questions and participate, you're going to be incredibly bored, because I'm really just going to talk for like 45 minutes, and that's not going to be fun for anyone, I promise. So come in close. Joe's going to get around, and I'm going to tell you why I wanted to do it this way. First is just the perspective. I want to, and we do these things, some people think like they're obligatory just to say that, but I want to tell you, I really do want, I travel a lot, I speak at a lot of different things, and I want to commend the C3 team, because this has been amazing. Like this is a really, really awesome event. The vendors that are here, the presentations that I've been able to like sneak in have been very informative. I've really enjoyed it. But I really want to commend those of you that are customers and users in the room as well, because that's my perspective. That's where I've come from. And I'm going to tell you, it is not missed on us that it is a lot to step away from your business for a day, a half a day, 2 days to be here. So congratulations to you guys for making that effort and taking that step. And I do want to say that so that you understand my perspective as I talk through this. Yes, I am responsible for the CX application at Zoom. And for Zoom, that means the contact center, our AI, our workforce management, our virtual agent. But I didn't wake up one day and be like, oh, I'm going to go work at Zoom. Actually, when I woke up like on this planet, Zoom wasn't even a thought. So, and thanks, Joe, because I feel really old now. He started talking about all those like things from that team, and you actually brought up Clinton. That's a touchy subject. But I have spent most of my time, and in addition to the last few years at Zoom, I spent most of my time on the actual operations side. I started the contact centers in the United States for Sprint. I've run contact centers for Travelers, for Humana, for American Express, Mercedes, Lexus, Toyota, and when I started thinking about whenever I wanted to know like what technology was or what I needed to change or what I wanted to improve in my business, I didn't really think about, oh, how does technology work? Like, I didn't give a shit. Well, can I say that here? I forgot. I need to let you guys know. I'm from the Northeast. I probably should have told you that first. Like, I'm from Philadelphia. I say fuck as it's a noun, it's a verb, you know. It is not intended to offend anyone. It's just a natural part of how I talk. So if you're offended, I apologize. It's probably going to happen again, all right? So I didn't really understand or care about how the technology worked. As an operator, I was concerned with what does the experience look like for my employees and what the experience looked like for my customer. But also, when I wanted to find out about technology, I didn't really like go to trade shows or answer any of the millions of emails I would get from well-meaning salespeople. I would simply go ask someone else who was like me. I just asked another contact center manager or another contact center vice president or whatever, who are you using for this? Do you like it? How does it work? So what I wanted to do is an opportunity. The reason that Joe has a microphone is I really want to have an exchange with the users in the room, the operators in the room. I think you guys will have a much better time learning from each other. So I'm just going to ask some questions, and those of you that want to answer can answer. Now, before I do that, I got to do this. Everybody, you ready? You with me? Pay attention. It's going to go real fast. Okay, watch the screen. If any one of you, if any one of you talks to anyone from Zoom marketing, you tell them that was a great fucking slide deck, all right? You saw it, you enjoyed it, it was meaningful, okay? And it really touched you, okay? It really touched you, and it was powerful, all right? But here's the deal. How many of you have went to one of the workshops or things that are here on AI or chatbots, right? How many of you really want me to talk for another 40 minutes about AI and chatbots and show you 23 slides about it? Anyone? No one. Okay, I didn't think so. All right, so here's the deal. I am going to start with one question I did get from Jamie. Is Jamie here? Jamie's not in here? Okay, so I was talking to one of the customers earlier today, and she asked me, she was about ChatGPT, right? Everyone wants to know, like, ChatGPT, ooh, it's exciting, it's frightening, it's all the above, right? But she had a very interesting use case for it. And I was going to ask her to explain it, but I'm going to explain what she told me. They're in the banking business, and they have a lot of wonderful tellers in the banks who, to put it politely, were not necessarily hired for their knowledge, okay? But they're there, and they serve an appropriate purpose. And they actually her company actually uses ChatGPT to help them with their scripting and some of the things that they want them to be able to say on a consistent basis. So that's how they use that. Now, everyone knows ChatGPT because that's the most famous one. That's the one that's out there. That is not the only form of GBT. That just happens to be the first one that's out. It's an open source one. There's pros and cons to it. I can tell you that I, as both as Zoom and as a SMB in this space, we have no preference. I am not pro or con ChatGPT. It's just another form of another use of AI in our operation space. And some people say, I do get asked this, and actually I need to say this because I used to give this answer. Even when Joe and I were prepping for this, we were like, so the question is, will ChatGPT replace like live agents? And we were like, well, no, of course not. Like, no one would think that. Except last week, I actually saw a post from a well-meaning, well-respected contact center expert. And her post on LinkedIn said that AI and ChatGPT will replace live agents, and we all need to start getting prepared. I really wanted to respond, but it was her post on LinkedIn, and I didn't want to be, that guy, okay? But she's a fucking idiot, okay? Like, that's not going to happen. I will tell you so that you guys completely understand and can accept AI in all of its forms. AI is doing what we in the contact center space have been trying to do for 40 years, okay? The most expensive resource in every single contact center operation, I don't care what your product is, the most expensive resource is your people. And for decades, we've been trying to figure out how to get our employee base to handle complex questions and issues and not be tied up on the phone answering what is my balance? How do I reset my password? And other mundane things, because it's expensive to do that. So all GBT is doing, all chatbots are doing, all AI, self-service, everything that's on the front end is simply doing what we've been trying to do. We're just getting better at it. We used to think IVRs would do it. How many people remember when an IVR was like push 1 for sales and 2 for support? Right? Some of you are offended because that's your AI right now. Okay, don't worry about it. The people at C3 will help you. Okay, you can get better. All right, IVRs do so much more than that right now. But that's what it was in the beginning, right? We wanted to do that. Why? Because we wanted to route you to the right person. Because we didn't want when we answered the phone, we have an expensive agent on the phone, and you start explaining who you are and what you want and why you called. So we did IVRs, right? Then we moved to self-service. Go online and get it. Go to the website. How many of you have called a place? This is so fun. You spend time on the website trying to figure things out. You can't really figure it out, right? You look it up, it doesn't work. You talk to your friends, it doesn't work. You actually have to call the place. How many of you have called the place and while you're waiting for someone to answer, they tell you to go to their website? Isn't that cool? Yeah, don't you just want to be like, I got your website right here, right? Yeah, so they thought it was a good idea. Okay, that's why they put it on there. Don't do that. And if those of you guys that are doing it, I understand you want people to go to your website, but if they're already on the phone, please don't tell them to do the website. They're just getting more upset while they're waiting for you. Okay, so if that's your IVR right now, change that when you go back. Don't do that, it's bad. All right, but that's what we were trying to get to. We were trying to get to the place where consumers can get what they want in a ready-made fashion and not have to deal so much with a live agent that we wanted handling real and complex issues. So AI is good, okay? It's not the AI from Terminator, okay? That's the fear people have. It's not that. Skynet is not taking over, okay? And if they do, we'll have plenty of warning, right? So you can get out. Cool AI. How many of you saw the movie? This movie was out, I think, earlier this year. Like, Megan. Anybody see that movie? Was that not cool? Like, that's the AI I want. I want Megan. If you get Megan, your kids are safe. I guarantee you that. She's like, Megan's not gonna let anything happen to your children. They're absolutely fine. So that AI is cool. So don't be afraid of it. Do ask questions, though. And I'm not saying this just because C3 is putting on this. I'm saying do ask questions because, unfortunately, AI has turned into the cool thing to say. It's trending. All companies are doing now is putting .ai on the end of their name. And AI is sufficiently confusing that a lot of people think, oh, they clearly know AI, right? They must be experts. No, they're just smart at marketing. They're smart at branding. I'm waiting. I told Sam yesterday, I'm going to put AI on the end of my name. I want that. I'm just going to be like Brandon AI from now on, right? And see how many people think that's cool and like start asking me things because they think I know. But I do want you to be a little cautious because there are a lot of companies coming out with AI on the end of their name because they know it draws attention, they know it's a buzz, they know people are talking about it. And that's not offense to any of the suppliers that are here. But some of them have figured out that AI has also become like to use. So now they're going like AO and IO and all kinds of cute things. It's like a dot something. So just do some research, use the resources you have, because the most important thing is not what AI is capable of. Because quite frankly, none of us know what AI is capable of. That's the point of AI. It's supposed to grow and adapt and become more useful. We don't know where it's going to go. So there's no one that can tell you everything that AI does or everything that AI is going to do. So it's beneficial for you because the only thing that matters is what can it do for you? What can it do for your specific business and can it help you? So with that, I want to go to questions, and I'm going to have you guys ask and answer amongst yourselves. This is going to be fun. I'm just going to like hang out here on this cool little sofa. I tried to get Eric to just like lay on the sofa to see how, like, if you guys would notice if he was just like chilling over there while we were talking, but he wasn't up for that. But and by the way, you're not just asking me the question. There's literally like there's a bunch of people in here. I guarantee you somebody has probably your concern. But let's start with this. Are any of you at a business that is really genuinely concerned about the use of AI overall, like the safety of it, the security of it, or just knowing how it works? Anybody in that situation? Can we get a mic to that gentleman right there? I want to ask him a question.
You're gonna make me run.
Yeah, well, look, at least I got him closer. Before, you would have been up there on the balcony trying to get to somebody.
Who was it?
So what's your company's concern? Tell me that first.
Well, I think you kind of already hit it. We don't know the endless capabilities of it, right?
Yeah.
And one of the questions I haven't heard all day is, have we factored in human error with the scripting and coding behind all of the intelligence learning of AI? So what's to say it doesn't go on its own path because of Gen AI, where it's taking all the metadata, right?
Yes.
And making its own decisions.
100%.
Where is that point?
Yeah, and that's part of the research. So I'm gonna do a little bit of background. For some of you, this will be redundant. For others, you may or may not know this. But within the GBT world, there's open source, right, which is chat and a few of the other ones from those guys. And again, I'm not trying to be disparaging to any organization, but that's the equivalent of Wikipedia. Seriously. Because you're talking anyone and everyone that can go out, and I don't know, you guys might have some friends like I have friends. Their opinions are just that. It's just their opinions, right? And I had, my dad used to say something when I was growing up, and I actually say this to my kids right now. It's really bad. Well, just the way you say it is bad. But I've taught my kids, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. Right? So you have to consider the source when people are talking. That's the challenge with the open source. You can't quantify it, right? You don't really know what it is. Now, there are some, Zoom included, there are some companies that use a federated approach to AI. That means they're only pulling data from validated sources, mostly databases that they control, right, or have access to, and the information going into it has been validated and quantified, and they can vouch for it, so to speak. Now, there's pros and cons to that, right? The pro is you know exactly what it is, you can feel comfortable with it. The con is it's not as vast, right? Because it's a finite source, and it's defined. So I would look at really what are you using it for, and what's the exposure? Okay, so if you want to get some automated chat functionality to go intercompany, not that big of a deal if employee A says something weird to employee B, right? If you're using it for people who are customer facing, especially on social media, where you have about 15 seconds before it can go viral, that I'd be a little bit more concerned about. I probably would only use a federated approach to that, and even that I may scale down to be a database that I know that I put the information in there, so to speak. But you're right, it's a very real concern. It's not one that you can really control because, to your point, AI is supposed to develop its own thought process based on the information that it's given. So the more you give it, everybody in IT knows Giggle, right? Okay? So the more you give it, the more it's going to adapt that train of thought. So definitely something to be concerned about and to be cautious for. And you can check out which of your sources are validated and federated. You can ask whatever company you're working with or you're looking to get GBT from to see what their sources are, to see what their agreements are contractually with those sources, to see how often it's updated, how it's updated. All that stuff is available to you. And I would say it's worth doing the research. All right? Good question. What else? If you guys don't ask questions, then I got to start. All you have, I can see your names, so I'm just going to start asking you questions. If you don't ask me questions, or you could ask Joe questions. I do. I want to ask Joe a question. It's going to be super fun. Let's ask Joe a question. I do want to know from you guys' perspective, from the C3 perspective. Do you get a lot of customers at all even asking about AI or how to incorporate it into their business?
Yeah, so this is a really good conversation that we've had. Is this breaking up? Does it sound okay? Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the conversations we have is a lot of our customers come to us and say, hey, I need to know about AI. I'm being told that I need to understand what AI can do for our company. And I told Matthew, to me, that's like asking somebody I need you to research cars. Go look at cars. If I don't know that you have a family of 6, or I don't know that you're a 50-year-old in a midlife crisis and you want a sports car, then it's a very broad market. But if we start looking at what you guys want from an AI platform, whether it's a GPT or it's agent assist or agent summarization, to me, that's a great way of using an AI platform internally, get your feet wet, save some time with the agents, reduce that margin of error. So for me, yes, we are being asked, what is AI? And I go and basically just respond and say, what are you trying to solve for? And then we'll talk about that specific AI platform or vendors that can do that.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good point because we get customers asking us all the time as well as should I, actually I had one yesterday. Let me make sure he's not in here. I had someone yesterday who asked me, should I get AI? I mean, how much time you got? Like, that's not a booth question. That's not me standing at a table and trying to figure out, like, there's so much more I need to know about your business and how you plan on doing it, and even what AI is, because it's just an algorithm, but it can be used so many different ways, or like on the front end, the back end. We know the most common ones, right? Like the chat bots and things like that. But some of the more cooler ones are how AI is being used on the back end to help agents. But I did have a story I was going to share because this was kind of unique. It's kind of weird to me. I know I travel a lot, and I know you talk to people who are concerned, because the more automated we get, the more concerned humans get with their very existence, right? And oh my God, what am I going to do? And I landed last year. I landed at JFK. And I don't know if you guys have been to JFK, and they probably have it at other airports as well. But in the baggage claim area, they have holograms. Have any of you guys seen that? They have holograms. Like it's a hologram, and she's dressed like she works there, and you can ask her like where the bags from like flight 2015 that came in from Las Vegas or whatever like that, and she'll tell you where it is. And this guy presented this to me. He was like, "See that? Like all those people are like out of jobs." And I was, first of all, there was never a human being to tell you where the bags were, okay? At the baggage counter, there was a little screen, and it had a number on it, and you had to figure that out. Or you look at the big screen, and it said like, hey, baggage claim number 4, right? So the hologram didn't really replace anyone. But what it did do, so you guys understand how AI can be useful, is it took the remedial question away. They still have the customer service for baggage claim, right? Because if you travel long enough, eventually you will go to a place that your bags don't go, right? It happens. And when that happens, the hologram's not going to help you, okay? She has no idea where your bags are. You still have to go to the counter and, fill out the little paperwork and explain, the value of what's it. This is fun. Raise your hand if you travel like more than like 25% of the time. Okay. Can any of you that raised your hand tell me like right now the value of the contents of your suitcase? Like, why is that a thing? Like, I know it's insurance and they have amounts and stuff like that. I'm getting off track, but it was hilarious to me. Like, they asked you that, like when my suitcase is gone. Like, the value right now is $1 gazillion because I need the things that are in it. So it doesn't really matter. All right, so AI, ChatGPT, or other forms of GPT, open source, we know. Are any of you guys using any type of AI on the back end? Any type of scripting for your agents or informing them? Anybody accessing knowledge base? Anybody doing anything like that? No, you guys aren't there yet? Okay. So do you guys use any of the users in the room, not the vendors? Any of the users in the room, are you using AI at all in your operation? Okay, you guys are? That's about it? Okay. Let me ask somebody that's not. Go to that guy right there. Go ahead, because he didn't raise his hand. So I want to ask him a question.
Oh, boy. I think he means you. Is this on?
Me?
Yep.
Hey, oh, you did do a thumbs up?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I apologize. I missed your thumb.
Oh, that's okay.
All right, because I was going to, if you weren't, I wanted to know, like, why. I wanted to know what kind of business you were in. But now, since you have the microphone and I missed your thumb,
Sure.
Why don't you tell me how you are using it?
Yeah. Well, we're an OEM manufacturer, and there just hasn't been a specific use case for it. So I'm in the situation, like he mentioned, that, okay, well, I'm supposed to know AI, so I'm digging in so I can understand it when C-level asks about it. But in our case, it's not necessarily a business, it's more of a business decision that has to be made because there's no specific technical use case for it, but there is the opportunity that other people, enterprising employees, are going to use it in ways that maybe the company doesn't understand, doesn't know, and they need to be prepared for that. So just source of record, that kind of thing. So that's really the perspective that we're taking on it right now.
That's awesome. Yeah, shadow IT, AI has umped that a lot.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So that's a very good issue. That actually poses another question for me. How many of you are IT people who are expected to know, like, hey, how AI works so that you can, right? Okay. All right. So we should probably do that a little bit. All right. We're gonna do that. I'm actually gonna go. I'm gonna do a couple. I'm gonna hit a slide real quick.
Real quick, Brandon. One thing that he said that it stuck well with me is it's not a technology decision, and for us, it's always a business decision. It really should be. That's the whole going beyond technology that is our tagline. So whatever makes your business more profitable, more efficient, more effective, then we pair the technology. So we can help you.
That's exactly right. And that's one of the things these guys can help you with that they do exceptionally well is figure out operational excellence first. And then see if AI applies or any other automation applies. But for those of you that are in IT, that operators come to you and be like, oh, I saw an AI commercial, or I went to a show, or look at this magazine, we need this, right? They're so excited, aren't they? Operations, they're wonderful people. They don't really give a shit how it works. They're just like, oh, I saw a pretty picture, squirrel, right? So for you guys, these are the most common use cases in the contact center. Okay, which is where AI is being applied mostly right now, right? So we have chatbots. Everybody knows what those are, right? Those are the things that pop up first that ask you knowledge-based questions that don't really matter for what you're actually trying to contact a place for. But it's cute and it slows you down, and so some of you will die off and not want to bother the real people, and then the few of you that get through do bother them. So chatbots, they serve a great purpose, right? Conversational analytics, that's the ability to listen to phone calls, right? We all know quality monitoring. You listen to the phone call, you listen for words, you listen for sentiment, all those things, and then you prompt your quality people to listen to a certain call. So you can program it to listen for certain thoughts, sentiment or words, because nobody has time to monitor all of the phone calls in a business. It's a crazy wild job. Workforce management, we know that's when agents supposed to be there. What are the calls coming in? You can actually use AI. There's actually I have a customer up in Massachusetts that everybody knows regular routing of an IVR is like skills-based routing, right? Who's licensed for this state, right? Well, these guys are in the insurance business, so their brokers are licensed by state, and people call in and say, hey, I want quotes, blah, blah, blah. And these guys they're assigned to try to close them, right? Close them on one of the insurance products. Well, one of the things that they're using their AI for is to go beyond the normal skills-based routing. So the call will automatically go to someone in that state. But they've been listening to the phone call because the call goes to a screener, a non-licensed person first, because licensed agents are expensive. So it goes to a non-licensed agent first, and it also tracks what that person put in the IVR. So not only does it send the call to someone who's licensed in the state of Michigan, it has the ability to send a call to someone who's licensed in the state of Michigan, who also has the highest closing ratio in the last 24 hours on the product that person is calling about. Okay, so you can get real cool with AI when you have the ability to listen to phone calls and look at CRM data and really route and improve your actual business that way, right? We have knowledge bases, agent prototyping. That's another good one. It's one of the ones, if you have contact center customer service agents, sometimes people will try to prototype them using Rembrandt or Myers-Briggs or something like that. There's software out right now that will take your top 15, your top 20% of your agents and look at all of their phone calls over a given period of time. And it will create a prototype of your top percentage agents. And then it can listen to other agents' calls. So that's the data gathering part of it. After that, then you turn it on. It listens to all your other agents' calls. It listens to what the customer is saying. And then it not only prompts your agent for scripting, but it can prompt your agent on what your prototype agent would be doing right now. So it can tell them both where to go in the system and what questions to ask based on what the caller is talking about, how the call is going. So that's really cool. There's a insurance company that I know that uses that, and one of the most basic uses they have of that is not only does it have the prototype in it of what the agent would say, it also listens and it says, like if you're calling and asking about tires or something like that, or about rental cars, and it can look and say, oh, this person filed a claim like less than 10 days ago, so they're probably calling to see if rental cars are included in their claim, or if they can get their tires replaced there. So it can tell the agent all those things, and it actually speeds up the phone call, and it gets the call to resolution. So those are good. Virtual assistant, we know those are out there. It's just another form of the chat bot, but it's a little bit more involved. It has a little bit more data points available to it, so it can actually help. And profiling is a lot like agent prototyping, but this one actually is on the customer side. You can have AI listen to a phone call, look at a customer's information, and inform an agent if this customer is likely to want to be upsold, or if there's other products that will fit what this customer has, and it can prompt the agent to bring that up on their conversation. So these are not the only uses, but these are the most common ones. So you want to be like super informed, right? And when people come to you talking about AI and like how we're going to use it, you can talk to them about any one of those things. There's a lot more, but you can talk to them about those. I don't care about that. 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 These are virtual assistants, by the way. They're bugging. All right. And I did want to end on this because this is what Joe said. Start with the why. Like if you want to understand, AI, and don't. A lot of times, some of your users, your operational people, they may just come to you and be like, oh, like I said, I saw this, I want this, or can it do this, whatever. You just do like, yeah, that's good. I'm gonna look into that, all right? Then when they leave, just call them. It's simple. You don't have to know all of this stuff. You don't have to know how it works. You don't even have to know the right vendor. There's a lot of vendors here, a lot of good information, a lot of good workshops, and even all the tables upstairs. I don't think you're gonna remember all the stuff though. I don't know you're gonna be able to just go just from this one day. You're gonna need to do some follow-up, ask some questions, talk to the guys at C3 to find out what actually is gonna work for you. What am I doing? Okay, good. All right. Is the bar still open? Okay, all right. I just wanted to know if it was going to be open when I was done, guys. It's nothing personal to you, but I was going to stop right now if it wasn't. So, but I have it on good authority. The bar is still going to be open.
And they still have alcohol.
And they do
They
have
have not ran out, I checked.
Oh, that's important. That's important. I did go to a couple bars last night, so I know Grand Rapids had some. So, matter of fact, is Tim in here? Tim's not in here. You guys know, where is he?
Were you at Z's last night with them?
Say it again?
Were you at Z's last night?
Oh, I cannot recall. That's what I'm supposed to say, right? I heard there were some people there. It was a thing. But if you guys see Tim, you can blame him because like he likes to tell people, I've literally been to Grand Rapids 5 times in my whole life, and he was responsible for 4 of them. So 4 of the times that I came here was because of Tim. I didn't even know it was here. This is not intended to offend anyone, but I was looking for Grand Rapids yesterday. I didn't see them. I saw a rapid. It wasn't Grand. So they just told me I just didn't go enough upstream, apparently. I got to go further up, and it's going to be Grand. I don't know. But the next time I come back, I will have seen the Grand Rapids or Rapids. All right. I guess you guys can't name your city like used to be Grand Rapids, right? That would be not cool. So we'll keep it the way it is. All right. Let's see. Do I have one more AI question? Is anybody seriously looking? Oh, no, that may be too much of a sales question. Okay, you don't look at this answer, okay? Don't look. I don't want to see 3 people looking at this. Are any of you end users seriously considering taking a look at AI in the next, let's say, 6 months? Okay. Okay, can you go give him a mic, please? Don't say your company name or anything, though, okay? I'm asking you. This would be fun. What are you thinking about?
So really, it's trying to find efficiencies in different departments, starting out with software development, marketing, and then call centers, kind of the obvious next piece for that. But there's also this, the fraud side of things. How can we detect and remediate fraud faster? Because the bad guys have access to the same tools, where effectively they're going to take public stolen data, turn that into a really well-crafted phishing message, leveraging AI to create something without typos, coming from a specific user group, pulled information out of LinkedIn. So the bad guys have the same tools, so it becomes a bit of an arms race.
So more of a cybersecurity one. So did that come out of need? Like, have you guys had an issue, or are you being proactive?
Just being proactive. A lot of the security groups, Homeland Security, putting out notifications saying this is on the horizon, be ready for it.
Okay, all right, very good, very good. AI and cybersecurity, that's another way, because cybersecurity was, I mean, for the most part, it was a cool idea, but it was all reactive, right? Like you had to, like, it was, you were more mitigating your risk of exposure after it happened. But adding AI to that has brought up the element of, can we predict, like, not just how vulnerable we are. Joe, you're going the wrong way. Go one table back, because the other guy asked the question right there. Thank you. So it is allowing companies to be more,
Which one, Brandon?
right there, right there, to be more predictive, right, with how they look at it, and proactive, and try to see if you have some holes, some gaps, some things that you can address, which honestly, it wasn't available to us before because there was too much data. Because like you said, the hackers have the same tools, and we didn't have a way of kind of getting in front of them. But we have a lot more of that now, so that's good. I think it was you, right? That raise your hand that you were thinking about it now? Yes, tell me about it. What do you think about?
Similar to what the gentleman said just a minute ago, it's the idea of getting ahead of some of the stuff, being proactive. So a big thing, we use CrowdStrike, and CrowdStrike now has Charlotte, which is their AI, generative AI type stuff. So just being able to take all that data that's out there, like, all right, hey, give me known threat actors in this field. And then, like, are there any of the signs that they are in our system or anything like that? So just being able to do that, and then on the flip side, having like Copilot, where you go, okay, we have our knowledge base, we have all of our articles that we can have Copilot look at. Can we make those more efficient for the end users to actually search, or like, hey, I need help with this menial thing. So just kind of what you were talking about with just the remedial day-to-day tasks, like, hey, how do I change my password? Just having something to free up the technicians, the specialists, to not do that day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, that really is like top of the line, or top of mind. That should be part of your automation strategy, and not just with AI. Like overall, businesses are tasked with having to do more with less, right? And especially when you're talking hybrid environments where you don't really have the interaction of the employees right there, you don't really have the oversight, when you're talking contact centers and stuff like that. So being able to use some tools to track things a little better is good. But one of the reasons why I wanted to do that is because, like I said, when I was an operator, some of my most useful time was talking to other operators about what they were doing, because our problems were similar, our challenges were similar, and it's always good to see somebody, to talk to somebody kind of like in the trenches doing that stuff. So you guys have, that's another opportunity you have here, with the lunches and the breaks and the networking and stuff, is not just, of course, the ability to just get out and see people and interact, but to ask those questions, right, and find out how your peers are doing things. So thank you guys for sharing. Is there anybody else that want to share how they're looking at or considering AI right now? Anybody just want to get on the mic and sing a song or something like that? No? Nobody want to do that? All right.
Hey,
first, I'm going to, say it again?
I was just going to jump in and say, two things. One, when you asked if anyone's looking at AI in the near future, I think everybody in this room should be. For some reason or another,
say it louder.
Understand
Yes.
what you can gain from the efficiencies. If you have attrition rates, where you're losing employees, it's hard to get them back. You think about being able to train an employee, it takes 6 months. You've got a supervisor that's paying attention to them. it's anywhere from, I've heard, $6,000 to $18,000 to train a new employee. And there's no guarantee that that person is going to stay. So when you start to think about that, there's so many platforms out there that can help with training, knowledge bases. Now you got that junior agent that is answering questions like a senior agent that's been there for 10 years. And also the other thing you just said is you said talk to operators, see what they're doing, see what kind of success they're having.
Yes.
There's a platform for that now.
Yes.
You can take what Brandon did really well and had that high score, and now you share it with every other agent in your platform. So you get that best of the breed. You can, and it's not a one-to-one coaching anymore. It's a one-to-many coaching.
Yeah, and that actually works. That's some of the best part of being able to crunch that data. And in general, if you're thinking, I'm not really like, it's not really contact center focus, or I'm not really sure, but I want to be sure like we're on the cutting edge, or I want to be sure like we're moving forward. Think of, half dozen, 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 6 years ago, all the talk was about big data, right? And what we're going to do with it. So think of AI as simply a series of algorithms that can crunch big data faster than any human known to man, right? That's really, so if any of your use cases are either A, I have so much information I'd like to make it usable or actionable, or two, I have information I need my agent to have, but I need to get it to them faster than I am doing it right now, you probably have a case for using AI above the things we know now, which is front-end screening and back-end information. So, hey, Tim. How you doing? Yeah. Hey, so now you guys remember what I told you about Tim earlier, right? So now he's here now, so you can talk to him about that. You can let him know about that. And thank you guys for indulging me. Don't forget, if anyone asks you, it was a great slide deck, very informative, and you loved it, right? Thanks for your time. Enjoy the rest of the show.